My boyfriend's 31M daughter, 7F, is bullying my 32F daughters, 7F and 8F. What do I do?
My boyfriend, 32, daughter, 7, is bullying my 31, daughters, 7 and 8. We've been dating for 7 months. My kids were acting strange while at my boyfriend's house. They started acting out a lot and not following basic rule.
Big breakdowns and coming back home from playing at the park without her. So I hit my patience level yesterday and took my kids out to find out why the sudden change in moods and why it's worse at his house than anywhere else. They informed me that she will grab them by the shoulders and shake them, she pins them down and screams in their ears, and she pinches and hits them when they don't want to play what she wants to play. When I asked why they hadn't told me, they said because she threatened them that she would be meaner if they did.
So I addressed it with my boyfriend. His daughter had a massive meltdown, which is typical for her. She completely loses it whenever she's addressed about anything. This has caused issues for us before. He asked if I would come back and talk to her.
I let him know that bullying is something I take very seriously and I would be very strict if I talked to her.
He said that I shouldn't come over then. I'm in education and deal with it very frequently, and most issues I handle with a whoops, let's make a better choice next time, set a hard line with bullying, so I took my kids home. We were texting about it and he kept saying I seemed angry. Which I wasn't, so L asked that we table it and get sitters so we could talk just the two of us face to face. He agreed but then was refusing to respond to me, so L asked him to call me on my lunch. He's now saying that I handled it wrong, we should have all talked about it together, that I should have come over and talked to his daughter. That I'm not harvesting a partnership because I didn't talk to his child. He's saying that my children are just accusing his daughter of bullying. That I threatened his daughter by saying I would be strict. He's saying I handled it wrong and that's why he's not doing anything to discipline her. I've expressed that I'm concerned about my children in that environment and they might not be coming back. Break up. If kids can't be together, this is a deal breaker. Next time slow down. First you introduced kids too fast. At 7 months you might be meeting adult to kid first time, without saying it's a date, just as a friend and setting some relationship with kids. Then introduce kids to each other. I would recommend find a book or two on blending families. But now back out of relationship. You should protect kids first. I could never be with someone I didn't respect as a parent. I know firsthand how much it takes to raise a good human. It takes constant regulation of your own self, frequent revision of your preconceived notions, endless self-interrogation. It's work. I don't want to be with someone who doesn't find that work worthwhile. My partner isn't a bio parent, but he's invested in my child becoming a happy, kind, confident adult. We are raising a good person. Does your boyfriend do that work? It's not your job to talk to his daughter. It's his. He is sitting back and pointing fingers at how you handled it wrong, but he refuses to handle it himself. If it were reversed, you would be talking to your daughters about it. Sue ya idk. Drop the boyfriend and bratty daughter and protect your kids. Did he offer to come over to your children and talk to them? No, I think I can tell where his child's behavior comes from. This relationship might not work, it also might push your children away. Think carefully before you continue this relationship. What advice do you need here? This guy is a useless parent and you've been negligent in protecting your children. This guy needs to go immediately. Think I've caught my husband pre-cheat? 30F and 34M. Married a few years with a new baby, so I'm 30F, especially insecure and emotional right now. Just wanted some advice to see if I'm overthinking things? Partner, 34M, has been in his job a number of years, all the while working alongside R. I was not aware of them spending time together outside of work and was never concerned about their friendship until a few months ago when I found a Toy Story miniature in my partner's car. When I asked what it was, he said R had gave it to him as some sort of friend-in-me gesture. Since then I've felt uneasy anytime he brings her up. He mostly talks about how he had to help her that day, something her partner did, or how she is just like you. She bought a present for our baby, but when we met her to collect this, he kept telling her how great she looked since she'd started her new diet. She has lost a lot of weight, especially compared to me post-pregnancy. Today I opened his phone to look up something and it was still on his messenger. I seen there were recent messages from R which I clicked on. There was a lot of communication and that took me surprise.
About 50% was work-related.
He'd also sent her pictures from our vacation at the weekend and pictures of him with our new baby.
Head said he has songs to play to her and they gave each other TV and film recommendations. They also seemed to be leaving each other gifts of sweets in the office. R thanked him many times for supporting her and allowing her to vent to him.
I think what hurt the most was arranging to meet for morning coffees and, thanks for taking me to lunch, comments. Meanwhile I am at home with baby all day without a chance to even get a hot cup of tea. R reacted to a lot of what he said with a heart. Would you confront him about this?
Do you think it sounds like a strong friendship and I should just be happy he has someone to eat with and stop looking at his phone?
This feels very similar to how my relationship with him started and I'm very worried but I don't want to talk to him about it. This is the first time I've ever read his messages in 10 years but I think my gut is telling me something is up. Too long did not read. Wrongly. Read husband's messages to his female colleague and now I'm worried they are too close and leading up to an affair. I don't think this is pre-cheating. This feels like the beginning to an emotional affair and he may not even be aware of it fully.
When you're going out of your way to buy another woman gifts and actively thinking of things that you can share that will make them happy and communicating as much as they are seems wrong to me. With a new baby it's easy to fall away from each other but it's important to make time for just you guys outside of your child.
I would talk to him about how his actions are upsetting you.
Does he do nice stuff and buy stuff for you? If no, then I'd be more worried because you shouldn't be doing anything for a woman that you aren't doing for your wife. When you said he helped her that day, and something about her partner, was she having marital problems with her partner?
If she is venting to your husband about her husband, then I think you might be getting into emotional affair territories. I'm sure you wouldn't want him to vent to her about you, so I'm hoping that's not their dynamic.
Buying regular little gifts for each other is really concerning.
I think you should talk to him about it but try to stay calm and don't be accusatory. What do you mean this is how your relationship started? There should be transparency in your relationship. Personally, I don't have a problem with my partner looking at my text. That should be normal.
But you should express how you feel.
Tell him you miss going out on dates with him.
Do you guys still date?
If not, start regrouping and discuss how you both can reconnect. If you feel she's crossing a line, then talk about it with him.
If he gets defensive, talk about it some more till everyone is on the same page. If you can't be comfortable having this conversation, then you both have a bigger problem.
I think you can approach him about it without mentioning the chats.
Just explain you're uncomfortable with how close they seem to be getting and point out it's exactly the way he courted you.
Instead of, I saw you go for coffee and buy her lunch. Are you going out to lunch or something without other coworkers? Are you confiding personal things to each other?
Is she your work wife? Why are you paying more attention to your work wife than your real wife? If she's just a friend, why isn't she my friend too?
They are behaving as people in a relationship would. At the very least, this is an emotional affair. Especially since you were totally unaware of this dynamic. My 27F husband, 27M, says he can't apply for jobs because I don't clean enough.
What should I do?
My husband has been searching for a full-time job for about 3 months now.
If I had to guess, he's probably applied to less than 20 so far. He recently got a part-time job with about 10 hours a week after I was begging him for months to find something temporarily.
For context, I have a full-time job that just barely covers our bills. I usually work about 50 hours a week and my job can be very stressful at times. Right now is one of those times where I am extremely stressed and overwhelmed. I asked my husband how I can better support him in his job search. I was thinking I could help him tailor his resume, send him jobs to apply for, etc. His response was that he can't apply for jobs if our apartment is messy. Then, went on to complain about how I don't clean enough.
He said between his part-time job, going to the grocery store, and cooking dinner 3 nights a week, he doesn't have enough time to clean. He often sleeps in until 11/12 and spends a lot of time watching Netflix, so I think he does have the time. When I point out that he does have time and could clean while I am working, he then claims that because he has ADHD, he can't clean unless I am also cleaning.
He thinks that I don't clean as much as him, but I disagree. I think we split the cleaning in our place pretty equitably. We each have our own chores that we both do, as well as ones that we take turns doing.
Our apartment is definitely not dirty, but we could both clean up more often for sure. If something needs to be cleaned, he passive-aggressively tells me instead of doing it himself.
Although I think we are splitting the cleaning chores pretty evenly right now, I also think he could do more around the house until he has a full-time job. I'm not sure what to do now. I do want to support him in finding a new job. However, I kind of think he is just finding excuses, and I don't think it's really fair for me to do the majority of the household chores while working full-time if my partner is working 10 hours a week. How can I approach this problem with my husband? He said between his part-time job, going to the grocery store, and cooking dinner 3 nights a week, he doesn't have enough time to clean. He often sleeps in until 11/12 and spends a lot of time watching Netflix. His part-time job is 10 hours a week. How much does he go grocery shopping?
How elaborate are these dinners he's making 3 nights a week?
He then claims that because he has ADHD, he can't clean unless I am also cleaning.
How did he manage to clean before was married to you?
He then claims that because he has ADHD, he can't clean unless I am also cleaning. Funny how his ADHD doesn't stop him from doing literally anything else besides solo cleaning, huh? Your husband is so full of shit and excuses.
There's no reason to put up with this. You don't need this. From someone with ADHD, currently job seeking. If this is sincerely an issue for him, I doubt it. He should go to the library if he gets distracted in a messy space and/or a coffee shop if you have a laptop he can use.
There are solutions to this that are not you doing more. Since he claims he can only clean if you're cleaning, does he clean when you clean?
Because if he doesn't, then you already know he's just making up excuses. An ADHD issue? This is a great time to get evaluated and get on meds.
Other than calling well-man disposal services, he needs therapy.
Not couples therapy, just him therapy. This isn't a couple problem, it's a him problem. As someone who was recently unemployed, now no longer, with ADHD, my immediate reaction to reading your title was, "Then clean the house, you jobless bum." During my period of unemployment, I made an effort to keep a routine, waking up between 7:39 a.m. every morning, setting aside time to clean and work on job apps.
It kind of helped to pretend that my 9-5 was now applying for jobs, chores, errands, etc. I wasn't perfect about it, and I absolutely did spend some days being lazy, but at the end of the day I cared about not being a mooch and burdening my husband with the bills. I cared, so I tried my best. He's making excuses and changing the goalposts.
Don't let him.
Your husband is a manipulative twat waffle.
You spend 50 hours a week working, he only 20% of that, and he needs you to hold his hand as he cleans?
No fucking way. He is allowing this problem to perpetuate because he's lazy and controlling. My 39 female partner, 39 male, will not allow me to take our kids overseas for a wedding. What do I do? 39 female have 2 older brothers who live overseas and have done so for most of my life. Recently, one of my brothers has gotten engaged and they have decided to get married in a month's time.
Even though we have not seen each other very much over the years, I love both of my brothers very much and family is very important to me, so it would be so important to me to be there. Now to the problem.
I have 2 children, 2 and 8, with my partner, and due to some serious issues he does not get along with my parents. I intend on going overseas with my 2 kids and my mother for 4 days to support my brother. My partner has said that I can go alone, pay for him to go as well, or not go at all. Due to the issues between him and my mother, him coming is not an option. Also, I can barely afford to pay for the kids and my own tickets. Not going is absolutely hurting me emotionally because this is my brother, it's an important life event and I want to support him, and also I was there for my eldest brother for his wedding. Going without my kids isn't really an option either. My 2 years has only been away from me for 1 night. And he stayed with my parents. He also misses his uncles. My 8 years has his heart set on going since he has never been out of the country and does not want to be left behind. I have waited for 2 weeks for my partner to think it over. I have less than 2 weeks to book tickets and my family are waiting on my decision. When I brought it up, we had a massive fight and he has told me no, as he is not comfortable with the kids being so far away from him. It is a 5-hour flight overseas. He has also said that as I never provide the things he needs that are important to him, then why should he allow me to do what is important to me? Such as buy him a shed for his car and so he can do activities with his kids in. Also, as he has never been overseas for a holiday before, He wants to go and he wants to be there for our kid's first trip on an airplane. I feel like I am going nuts because what he is talking about is my lack of monetary support versus an important family event. Also, he had asked me a few months back if I wanted to go with him overseas, to the same country as I need to go to now, for a work event. However, I declined as I didn't think we could leave our children behind for so long, so saying he is uncomfortable with the distance doesn't make sense. What do I do? Any advice on how to navigate this? Are you sure he won't let you take the kids because he thinks you won't return?
Why are you living with this toxic person?
And even made kids with him. Go alone.
Clearly you're in an abusive situation with your husband. It's no surprise he's trying to keep you isolated from the family who probably wishes you never married him.
Do you think he's incapable of caring for your kids while you are gone?
Why does he have issues does he have with your mother?
There's not a lot of context. You should go alone. Unless you believe your partner is not to be trusted to care for the children, in which case you have a bigger problem than the wedding.
For the future, you shouldn't have let the kids know it was an option for them to go before your partner agreed.
Are you sure you aren't in an abusive relationship? If so, you have bigger problems than the one at hand.
Read this book and see if his behaviors tally. Go to the wedding alone, explain to your 8yo that he's not coming because daddy will not allow him, and let your hubby deal with the kids.
Then plan your exit. Hugs.